out for you guys as well. So, a quick disclaimer: any any advice or information given in this room is educational in nature and general advice only. Does not take into account your personal financial circumstances. By viewing any material using the information presented by Bovarius Capital, you agree that this is general education material and you will not hold any person or entity responsible for loss or damages resulting in the content or general advice provided here by Bovarius Capital Management, employees, directors or fellow members. Spot currency trading have large potential rewards but also potential risk. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the spot forex markets. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. The website's neither, or this site is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy or sell spot FX or any other financial products. No representation being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed in any of the sessions. Past performance of any trading system methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. This information is purely for educational purposes only. So, welcome guys. Thanks for being here again today. It's good to see that we've got quite a few of you in. So let's have a look at the calendar first and foremost. Is anybody here? You should all be subscribed to what's going on with what's her name, with Kathy Lean, right? Yeah, you guys subscribe to that? You should be. And because they do have some good information that comes out. Perfect. Yeah, quite a few of you are. Excellent. Alright, cool. Right, so let's see what's going on today. So it's 10 past 1. Let's see if there's any news trades out that we can take. Today's Friday the 5th. Services PMI came in worse than expected, but I think the market's kind of brushed that off a little bit. But do you guys remember, I think this is in yesterday's live room. I can't remember if it was me or Neil. It could have been Neil yesterday. So if it was Neil yesterday, I'd have been on Tuesday. But I discussed this particular figure. So where you see these 50s for PMI, etc. Anything, if it's below 50, it's considered a bust. If it's above, it's considered a boom. So you know you've got the boom bust cycle that goes on in the markets. This kind of thing happens all the time, isn't it? Yeah. So what happens is, first of all, they're building, and then after they built, the economy starts to boom. The economy booms to a certain degree, and then things start to slow down, and then things start to turn to the downside, and then as they drop, you get recession or bust, and then again you get the whole boom bust cycle. So one thing that's happening is this figure being quite low in comparison to this figure here. It's quite close to the 50, but at the same time, we can't just look at the figures and see what the figures are saying. We've got to look at what the market's saying as well. So at the moment, what's the general sentiment in the market when it comes to sterling? Yeah, because this is the UK, right? Well, the general sentiment is that things are going to get better. So there is a positive outlook, and sentiment's important, right? So there's a positive outlook. There's developments being made in terms of Brexit. I believe, what's that guy's name? Is it Junctor? I think it was him that came out and said something about they're very close to coming out with a Brexit deal that would more or less please both parties. But you know how it works, right? So it's not, it's not agreed until it's agreed. So anything could happen. But at the moment, the current moment in time, while the sentiment is good, the markets will react off the back of that. Yeah. So sentiment typically has been quite good for the UK. And then, with CAD, we've got trade balance coming out. So that was at minus 1.9, expecting minus 2.1. It's always good to have a look at these things because, see, when I get you guys to click on this here and then start seeing what this is about, what each announcement means and what it means to traders, etc. So when you click on that and you look down here, you can see, right? So trade balance for Canada is going to be the same measurement as it will be for the US, as it will be for sterling, as it will be for the euro, and so forth. Yeah, and as you can see here, it tells you that this is difference in value between import and export goods during the reported month. Actual greater the forecast is good for the currency. So we'll see how that pans out. I mean, obviously that's not more positive, that's more negative, so we'll see. But the biggest thing is going to be what's the difference between the actual figure and the figure they're expecting. And we'll see. That's released every month, about 35 days after the month ends. So these are Forex factory notes. Positive number indicates that more goods were exported than imported. About 75% of Canadian exports are purchased by the US. Right. So that's why when there's news coming out for the CAD, what do we trade? Dollar CAD. Yeah. Um, why traders care? Well, export demand and currency demand directly linked because foreigners must buy domestic currency to pay for the nation's exports. Export demand also impacts production and price of domestic manufacturers, also called international merchandise trade. But I mean, most people just say trade balance. But look, um, what that means is, well, it means exactly what it says. It's pretty straightforward, right? So you want to know. It's a bit like a business, yeah. So always look at a country's economy, just like you would look at a company's economy, yeah. So if for example there's a huge demand for the goods of that currency of that country, sorry, that economy. So oil's Canada's a big exporter of oil. So if there's huge demand for oil, and people want to buy oil, they're gonna, you know, well, it's priced in US dollars, but they will have to exchange Canadian dollars to purchase it from Canada anyway, regardless. Yeah. So that gives you a general. That's it's a very kind of general brief view of what it's about. But we've got trade balance coming out in 15 minutes, so we can look at that dollar CAD and see what that's doing and see what happens. Yeah. So I'll look to implement a news trade on the back of that and see if that works out okay for us. And then we've got the FOMC, excuse me, and we've got the governor for the Swiss francs board as well. These are medium impact events. It's always, with FOMC members, what you want to know about these guys is it's important to understand to listen to them because I think there's 12 members, isn't there, of the FOMC. Now what happens is it 12 or is it more? I'll have to double check. I'm not sure right now. But anyway, what happens is with these guys when they're speaking, they're giving their views, and if they're all sitting together in the same place, they're exchanging views, and they have a voice somewhere, right? And we don't know exactly how much their voice can influence, can persuade or influence the opinion of the overall board and so forth. But it's good to see what they're saying, just to kind of get a gist overview of it, yeah. That's happening later tonight at 6 p.m. And then tomorrow we've got a great day tomorrow because we've got, of course, NFP non-farm payroll. It is the biggest announcement in the FX markets, and it's the one that everybody should know about. It's one of those that if anybody asked you what's NFP, you should know it's non-farm payroll. So NFP is the unemployment figures that come out for the US, excluding agriculture, so excluding farming because it's seasonal. Yeah, cool. So right, there was some stuff that came out from Cafe. I don't really want to spend too much time on that because we want to see what's going on with this news. Yeah. So bear 1 second, really quickly. Let's have a look here. All right, so a lot of talk about dollar yen there, and there we go, sprinted past the 107 level. This is Boris, worth for having a read. I'm not going to go into this right now. Actually, let's look at the chart, and then if we've got a bit of time, we'll come back to it. Yeah. So let's see what's going on here with the charts. So I don't know if you guys have all seen this. So I did one of the live rooms that I did. It was based upon doing multiple time frame analysis and just going from higher time frames to lower time frames and so forth and stuff like that. Let's do this with dollar CAD actually because this is what we'll look at. But dollar CAD, we're going to go to a 5 minute. By the way, for the news, in 12 minutes we'll go to a 5 minute time frame and just see. I mean, this is a 5 minute candle right now, so we've got a fair bit of movement coming out there. So let me get this to a clean chart. Plain. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, cool. So daily time frame. Now it's always good to do this. Go to the daily time frame and just have a look and see what's going on. I've got a sell limit in here for some reason. Bear with. Okay. So it's good to do this. Now we're not going to use this information that we're going to do right now to trade the dollar CAD because we're going to trade it off the back of news. So we're going to wait for that to come out and then we'll deal with that as and when that happens. Yeah. So what wouldn't you guys really be doing? You can do it with either candlesticks or price bars doesn't really matter. But it's just you know, just drawing some lines and see what's going on. Typically with these markets, you know, what are they doing and stuff. This is not as clear as some of the other charts have been. But for example, here we can see the market was trending downwards. Yeah, see that? Market's trending downwards, and then it breaks the upside here. And do you notice how what happens is the market starts then making what you might call higher highs. So you wouldn't typically draw across the top of this. Right now, when I speak to people that have done a lot of technical analysis and so forth, and they always like to have the three touches and so forth, and draw the lines so they're exact. And it's not about that. We're not going to trade for these. We just want some information on how to perceive or look at the markets. So if we're looking right now at dollar CAD on a daily time frame, you tell me the direction. Do you think the direction is up? Do you think the direction is down? You tell me. What do you think? Alright, up. Anyone else for up? Yeah, so you can see that, yeah. So exactly, yeah. So clearly it's going up. Now it's in a channel at the moment. Yeah, you can see that. Right, so even if this thing comes down from here to around about here, before it pops back up, I mean it's still in an upward trend, because remember how we defined an uptrend, yeah? So we define an uptrend through higher highs and higher lows. Yeah. So these are your higher highs, and these are your higher lows. Yeah. And so forth, and that's how we define an uptrend. So that's what's going on currently at the moment. So at the moment you can say the market's up on a daily time frame. Yeah, and then what we can do is I typically I don't go to these monthly ones and these weekly ones because I'm more of a short-term trader. Yeah, but at the same time, there's no reason why you couldn't do that if you wanted to. I'm going to drop down from there to a 4-hour time frame and just see what's going on here in the 4-hour time frame. Now, if I draw a line here, like a trend line here, you can see that that the market's been on quite a steep uptrend, yeah. So typically, you want the uptrend. Really, you know, when you look at a healthy uptrend, you want it to kind of be doing this, and it's climbing and so forth. And do you see what I mean? Uh, you don't necessarily want it to be too steep. So you can see here it's driven up quite steep. It pulls back. It's another quite steep drive as well that it's had. But it's good to do this because you get to recognise how these different currency pairs move at certain points in time. You know, and you can only trade what it is that you see there and then. Right. So now that trend line's been broken. So it's no point just having that trend line just that there. It's been broken. Also, it doesn't matter how you start drawing these. Really, you can see that they've been broken as well. Yeah. So if I just draw that, let's say like this, for example. Again, it's been broken. It's been taken out. So what's the market doing? Is it making higher highs? Is it making higher lows, and so forth? Which really, if we just look at this as to what it's doing, and we look at the, let me just zoom in a little bit. Look at the current price action that we're seeing. It's a bit rangy, isn't it? Really. Now it's broken down through that, come back up, tested it, and driven off. At the moment, what I would say is we clearly have what's called a downtrend. Yeah, just do it with this here. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay, so seeing this, I'd be looking to. And we're on a 4-hour time frame. I'm not going to trade off this time frame, okay? But if I've got this in place here, I'd be looking for when the market gets up to here, and there's still 40 odd pips to go at that point there. It's not bad of a 25 pip stop actually. So let's have a look. Let's drill into this and see what's going on. This could well get here today. There's no reason why it couldn't. It could get here today. Could be a nice trading opportunity. Here we go. So we drill in now. This allows us to drill into. So you can see I've got an entry here. So if I just how am I doing this? Alright, we've got 5 minutes till news comes out. So let's remove some of these trend lines. Just leave them on the daily and the 4-hour for now. So they're out of our way. Here we go. So I'm going to show it just on a daily and a 4 hour at the moment. And same with this one here. Boom, boom, done. Okay, cool, perfect. So back here, now we get to drill a bit more closely. So the reason why I put this in place was because of. Did you guys see that? Move that across. And then if I do, wait there, bear with me. If I do that, yeah. So just looking for this thing to drive up and come and get my price. Yeah. Now this one here, I do like it very much. So I'm going to put my sell order in here as well. Now I know there's news coming out. Remember this, right? So I know there's news is due out for CAD, for the Canadian dollar, and excuse me, someone can say to me, why do you put a trade on when news is out, right? The reason being is because the market's moving up and down trying to find orders. So I'm not under any great disillusions about this. I'm not thinking to myself like, oh, I'm not thinking, oh, the news isn't going to make a difference to what can happen. But I do have extreme amount of confidence in levels, so that's the reason why I put them on. A lot of times the news is great because it can drive through into these prices to collect my orders and so forth. Yeah. Um, but we're going to trade this off the back of news anyway, so we'll just see what happens here, how this holds out. What we've got here is a drop, base drop. Quite like this, but the wick is quite big. So I like it a bit higher. I wouldn't enter this right now, especially because the news is coming out as well. So I wouldn't want you guys to do that also. Don't be in it while the news is going on. I mean, you wouldn't want to enter position right now while the news is going on. Yeah, while it's about to go on. Yeah. So we'll give that 4 minutes for the news to come out, and then we could draw down even further, right? So what we're doing is we're looking at some levels and stuff. We could draw them everywhere, but the market is not everywhere. Do you understand me? What I mean by that? So the market's here. If I start drawing them up here, and the market needs to 130 pips to get there, I don't need that just yet. It's unnecessary. I'm not trading there just yet. Yeah. So drop down to 30-minute time frame. Let's look at what's going on in the 30-minute time frame. Now on the 30-minute time frame, I'm able to. What's it called? I'm able to drill in, yeah, to drill down. Now with so here we go with this one here. What I can do is I can then do that, yeah. Oops. There you go. Do that, and that. With this one here, I'm not going to look to trade this, but I just want it in place. I just want to see it. The level is actually, I'll show you where it is. It's actually really, it's in this here. So we'll see how that plays out. At the moment, we don't see much going on. We have to drop down to 5 minutes to see what's going on. Now, it's nice the way that drives up, isn't it? It's nice what we like to see. Now, do you remember those price bars that one price bar that I drew this around? Look what happens when we drill in, yeah, from 30 minutes to 15 minutes. Now one becomes two in terms of candles. So you can see how we can start drilling and make it more neater. But it's moment in time. I'm not going to do that. It's still the same levels that I want to enter at anyway. Yeah. So let's have a quick flick through while we wait 2 minutes for the news to come out. Let's see what's going on there. Let's get our supply demand up on a 1 hour time frame. On a 1 time frame. Do you guys switch between? You should switch between time frames. It's good to do that, yeah. But don't get too caught up. If you trade a 15 minute, always trade a 15 minutes. But it's good to see what else is going on, yeah. Let's see. Just had a bit of news come out really quick. Just see what it says. More US demand as US data release looms 5th of April. Where's our calendar? Let's get it back up. Why is it not here? Calendar. That's not it. Nope. Here we go. Okay, so 1 minute till news comes out. Um, yeah, what news is it talking about? Must be tomorrow's they're talking about. Alright, so back here. Right, so look, let's go back to dollar CAD because the news is coming out now. Okay, so this is the 130 candle. So let's see what that's doing. That's starting to drive up a little bit more. So we've got a figure. Oh, want a bit more movement than that. Oh, look at that. Came out even worse. Even worse. Much bigger deficit. And alright, unemployment claims. So worse. What? Not much though. Not massively, but almost 20,000 off. One of the things also, by the way, before I forget, with services PMI, one of the things as well with it coming out much worse than expected is part of the general consensus is it's due to weather conditions. So we've had this crappy weather here in the UK, right? So a lot of it is they're saying is due to that. Why the market shrugged it off because they're just thinking like, bah, it's just a weather thing. Yeah. Look at that. We need a bit more movement than that. We need to see an impact from the news. That's why. Yeah. So it's only been 1 minute so far. So let's see how this plays out. Yeah. So right now we've seen it go up. We've seen it come down. We've seen do all kinds of things. If it doesn't give us the big move that we want, then it's not eventful. Then we just have to let it go. But that's what this strategy requires. Is that just that initial 5 minute wait, let it play out. A lot of trading is about that as well. It's about letting it come to you. So it's not about chasing and running after and so forth, especially when guys take losses. Because what happens is, wins make you feel good, losses make you feel bad. And none of us are exempt from being human beings, right? So we all go through different emotions and stuff like that and so forth. But it's just how we deal with them. Um, it's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't see me get too happy with wins and stuff like that. And they say to me, "You don't care about it, do you?" So I don't care about it. I just a long time ago I made the decision not to be on either side to any great degree. Do you understand me? Because if I get too excited about wins, then I have an attachment to winning. Do you understand me? When it's not about that's about attachment to the process, and then the wins come. So when you don't have an attachment to it and you're not too swayed either way, it's far easier to deal with all the stuff that happens in the markets because there's going to be a lot of things that happen in the markets anyway. I still need some more. This thing has to come down to here. So if we get this thing down to here, because you know what happens with the news a lot of times. The reason why this strategy works. A lot of times when the news initially comes out, it does this up and down movement, right? And I'm not seeing as much reaction here at the moment, but it does up and down movement initially, yeah. So you get good news and it pushes up, and then it pushes down, and it pushes up. It's for a number of reasons. Sometimes the news comes out straight away, you get the figure, it's better than expected, bang, it's time to buy the market, and then the news gets deciphered a bit more, and then it's a case of people get to see that news. Once the news gets deciphered, it's a case of whereby it's not as good as expected because of X or because of Y, yeah. So the good thing about this strategy is it allows you to get rid of all the noise that's going on and so forth. I was kind of hoping this thing would just drive up, but it didn't, did it? I think this one's not going to be that great in terms of like a news trade today. But what you'd be looking to do, only once this candle closes, I'll show you when the candle closes. I'll show you what you'd be looking to do. NFP is always good. NFP, you get big moves in NFP. So let's let this candle close. And I'll show you how we trade it, yeah? So you might as well see how we do it anyway, like if it was a real trade. Any questions at the moment? No, it's funny when you got the screen up like this. Here we go. When you got a screen up like this, sometimes people get what's it called? Uh, watch. So I'd want this 3 pips above. So I'd come here, 3 pips above. So what I'd be looking to trading, buy stop. I'll do the same thing here. To the downside, I measure 3 pips. Here, 3 pips. Right click, trading, sell stop. Bam. And then you'd leave it, and then you'd see, right? That's 3 pips from the low, and so forth. Yeah. So delete that out of the way, and that out of the way as well. And that's what you do, and your stop loss will be on the other side of it, and then. Right, no worries. Cool. Right, so cool. So what's that done there? Do you see what happens a lot of times with levels, isn't it? It's like the market drives in, drives out again. But with I mean, looking at dollar CAD right now, I mean, this thing clearly is on a downtrend, isn't it? You know, so it is making its. But we didn't want to do that when the news was on. You see, so some people say, well, if you did it, you might be alright now. I say this thing just tanks, for example, yeah, because if dollar's strong, as dollar is currently right now, it's getting some momentum. Then the first currency in the chart dictates direction, doesn't it? So strong dollar would push this up. Weak dollar, you see this come down, but also it depends on the strength of the Canadian as well. And the Canadian, as we can see, the figures weren't great, right? So that would be weak CAD as well. You know, so if we get something to bolster the US dollar, then this easily could drive up to collect our orders above it. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so there was an uneventful news trading opportunity that didn't play out or didn't pan out. So we'll let that go. Tomorrow's NFP should be good. So we'll look to trade NFP tomorrow. So make sure you're here for that. We'll take advantage of that opportunity, especially the way things have been going currently. Yeah. So let's look through and see what the markets are offering us at the moment, if there's anything. Let's just start from 1 hour and have a look. No, we missed that entry. Way too late for that entry. Way too late for that entry. Plus, you know what it is? I like it. Do you know one thing I like to do? And it's like, I don't always do this when I show you guys trades that I'm taking, but ideally, and this is one of the reasons why I'm asking you to do this as well, is because if I do that, yeah, right. So what I would rather do is because this thing clearly, as you can see, it's doing that, yeah. You can see that, yeah. You can all see what that's doing, yes. Right. I would expect this thing to pop back up, yeah, to find orders. Now, what orders am I going to be looking for? I'm looking for these ones here. Can you see why I did that, everybody? Can you see why I did that? Yeah. So it's like the trend is down. Here, euro dollar on the 1 hour. Now, if we go to a daily time frame, and this is why I like to, it's good to see what's going on the other time frames as well, right? Because clean, let's make that clean. Do this. Let's move that out of the way. If we do this, and that, yeah. What are we seeing here? Yeah. So it's range bound consolidation, but also look at the pattern as well. Yes, that's a wedge. Now, this thing it typically means that euro dollar at some point is going to break. Yeah. Where it's going to break, we're not sure. If it's going to be to the up or downside, it's 100% not sure. But we can see what's going on here. Now, based upon what's going on here, if this thing holds up as it has been, this thing should start to pop up, shouldn't it? Yeah, we should have some upward movement. So, what's going on the one? Was it on the 1 hour we was looking at? It was the 1 hour, yeah. If I do that, just measure this a second. 67 pips. So more likely we'll come to this one here, because you know markets do move 67 pips, 60 to 70 pips in one day, but at this time here, is it going to pop back up? It's not always sure to say if it's going to do that. It's going to pop all the way back up there. But this first entry here, sorry, down here. So the second one down, the second one up here could take a while to get there. May not be today, but that's good. So I'll put that in. Let's have a look at what my stop's going to be on that. Not bad at all. Okay, cool. So put a stop loss in here, and I was 3 pips above here, so I've got what, 14 pip stop loss on there. It's not bad, right? 40 pip stop loss. What's my target? You know, where could this thing go? Where should it go, right? So, well, if this thing is doing that, yeah, you can see that it's clearly on it's a downtrend, yeah. Clearly, you guys see that, yeah. It's a downtrend. So if I do this. See that? Yeah, so the market's going down clearly. So what I would expect is this thing to come back up to find some orders. Yeah. So where would it have to come to find some orders? Let's bring that up. Let's do some measurements here. Right, let's have a look here. Could it get back up here? Yeah, it could, quite comfortably. Right, and then if I do this, I'm going to put this on here, because we can't ignore the wicks, as you guys know. Right, so from this here to here, that's a 20 odd pip push up. If it pushes up there to collect those orders, what else will it be doing? Well, it will be in line with this, won't it? Do you understand me, yeah? So, what do I do? Put an order in here, sell limit. Do you see how it's with the trend? Where's that sell limit? Here we go. So one of them's come up. I think it's one there. Right, so let me just put a stop in. Right, okay, cool. So now we just got to wait for that to come up and do its thing. So what's the risk on this? 10 pips. 10 pips is not bad, right? So let's see what the downside is on this as well. Okay. That's 3 to 1, yeah? 30 pips, 3 to 1. That should comfortably get there. Yeah, that should comfortably follow through. If that thing hits here, then comes back down, that should comfortably follow through. So we're looking to enter. So what I'm doing is I'm looking to enter one spot, 22.75. 10 pip stop loss and the 30 pip profit target down below. See how that pans out. Yeah. If I'm wrong, it will shoot straight through this, take it out, and then I would expect it could come to here, but I expect it to go up to here to the next one up. That's euro dollar. If we drill into euro dollar, we could do all kinds of things. But the point is you are seeing this, yeah. And now this isn't so. Trade thinks US China trade deal will happen. Of course it will happen. This whole US trade deal things and so forth. That's going on right now is kind of ruling the headlines a little bit. But you can see that each time it's getting lower and lower and lower and lower. So we would expect it to be lower again, wouldn't we? Yeah, as part of that, in line with the trend. Is that making sense? Cool. So I hope that helps you guys to kind of make some trading decisions to find your trades and stuff like that, you know, when you're doing this. Euro yen, if you've got the euro and the if you've got the the euro dollar and the euro yen typically should move together, yeah. So to a certain degree, yeah, because it's, you know, the one common denominator is the euro. You won't see them move the same distance. So the yen, the euro yen tends to make bigger moves than the euro dollar. A lot of times it moves. Pound yen as well. But the reason why you might look at, say, for example, if you're trading euro dollar and want to know what's going on and have a different viewpoint, you might go to euro yen and see what that's doing. Right now they're mimicking each other, aren't they? Really, yeah. Um, the same way if you trade pound dollar, you might look at pound yen and that type of thing. So why would I say look at like, so for example, if you're trading euro dollar, you can look at euro yen, see what's going on there. But why wouldn't I say to you, listen, why don't we look at, say, for example, euro CAD or euro Aussie as another one? The reason why we don't do that is because the Aussie doesn't have that much of a market share. You with me? So it's the dollar, the euro, and then the yen in terms of market share. You see, most traded currencies holds the biggest market share. So knowing that information as well, that's why we're not going to be so quick to start looking at something like the euro Aussie and so forth, because the currencies trading against being the Aussie, isn't typically going to have much of a command or it doesn't have as much of a command as the US dollar and the Japanese yen. Yeah, cool. So we'll see how that one pans out. Pound dollar. So pound dollar typically moves with the what's it called? Typically moves with the euro dollar and the Aussie dollar as well. Again, dollars being the main one. But remember, just because say euro dollar and pound dollar are falling doesn't mean that Aussie dollar can't rise. So bear that in mind, yeah. Um, so let's look here. From here, let's draw in. Some of these are cleaner charts to look at, yeah. Okay, cool. Any questions so far? I've had people ask me in the past before, it's like, your trend line, that thing's gone through, that thing's gone through, this gone through. What kind of trend line is that? What kind of trend line is that? Type of thing. Shit, I spilled my coffee. I tell you, landlords are going to love us. Anyway, well, and chair, bear with. Right, bear with me 2 seconds, guys. Just got to get a tissue quickly. Bear with me. You guys wouldn't believe what happened to me. So I spilt this coffee on me, and it looks like I've pissed myself as well. Bloody hell. Right, okay, so back to this, where I was at. So where I was at was, so a lot of people do tend to ask the question when it comes to trend lines and things like that. So, it's one of those things, when you're drawing lines and technical analysis and stuff, and you're trying to understand it a bit more and a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. And when people draw their lines, a lot of times, they will make sure it has those touches, yeah? So that would be, if I just zoom in now, and you see that, and you see that's a lot more clear, isn't it? You could say that's a better line, because it's like, when it gets down to here, this is if you're trading off trend lines, support and resistance type things, you could say, well, look, when it comes back to here, I'm going to look to buy it. But when it gets back to here, it could go straight through as well, couldn't it? There's nothing to say it's going to hold it up. So why do I draw it like this as opposed to like this? But, why would I draw both of them in place as well? Because I will draw both of them in place. Now, a trend line generally for me is all about general direction. We know the market's going up. I could use a moving average for that. I don't even need a trend line for that. But I want to see if there's any confluence as well. Right, so what do I mean by confluence? So, excuse me. If I do this, and just draw in some levels, yeah? So I'm going to take this one here, I'm just going to draw this in. Right, so having this in place, I mean, if this market dropped through here into here, this will catch it, I'd expect, and come back off. I'm not going to just use this one here, but I'm going to show you something. Right, so let's now take just this wick, right? Now, because these patterns that form aren't the clearest patterns as well, you're always better off just taking the wick, yeah? Now, when you draw the level, if you're going to draw it, it should be drawn using the whole of the price bar, of the candle. You see that candle there? That's what you should be doing, right? And that's exactly how it's taught. But see that there? Coolio. And then you'll get your entries and stuff, but get a few more entries, yeah? Right, that is how you should do it. The way I do it just using the wicks. For me, that's what I prefer. It lessens the risk on the trade as well, reduces the risk on the trade as well, which I do like doing that as well. But let's have a look at this. So if this market comes back in, it comes back down here and it breaks this and it comes into here to collect the orders, it's going to be lining up with this trend line, isn't it, as well? Yeah. So now you've got something else there that kind of you have some confluence with it. Why do you think this could be important to you, or why do you think it's a good idea to have something like this? I'll tell you why, or to add these kind of viewpoints. I'll tell you why, because when you make a decision on your trades that you've found a setup yourself, you've looked at it and you've taken that trade, the more that there'll be other, exactly. You do want an idea, that's true. So Stephen's saying you want an idea, it gives you an idea of where other people will be trading from. Yeah, exactly that. So it helps give confluence to your trade. So you've got a trend line along with your supply and demand level. Yeah, we're not using lagging indicators. You notice that we're using leading indicators in the way that where we're looking to buy from. Now I don't trade off of trend lines, but if I've got a trend line and this is going to line up to my trend line, that to me gives it stronger confluence. So off the back of that, I'd be looking to get in. Yeah, so my buy limit on the line because I've used the whole of the actual thing, the whole of the actual price bar, and then what I'd be looking to do. Bearing in mind, I think this is a daily time frame, right? Yeah, daily. So I don't trade off the daily. I don't trade off the daily because if I trade off the daily, look at that. That's 100 pip. That's 100 pip stop loss, right? So I'll just remove that, delete it, but we can drill down with it, see what else is going on. What about this one here? This one, insert shapes. Do you see? Do you see how we've got this rally, base rally? Yeah. So I'm just gonna draw it here. It's 4-hour time frame, bearing in mind. But if this comes down, what's it gonna do? There'll be confluence with my trend line as well, right? But it's a 4-hour time frame, so if you're going to trade it 4-hour time frame, you can't exclude the wick. There's 60 pip stop loss there, though the upside gain would be far greater. But the reason why I don't typically look like you guys to risk 50 pips to make 100 or 150 pips because most people can't hold through a 100 or 150 pip move. Do you understand me? So look at this. Euro dollar has been hurt by weaker US data. So that would be here. Doesn't matter. That to me is still the movement of the market. So even though this news has come out here, yeah, since March 1st, not really a big deal. So the data for the US has been good, but I'm not seeing a data for the US out here. Not high impact anyway. So right, sorry, bring my chart back up. Where was we? On pound dollar, yeah? So pound dollar. So now we can draw to 1 hour. Now 1 hour is good to trade from. 1 hour is very good to trade from. Very good to trade from, right? Very, very good. Now, if I do the 1 hour, I want to go back here and see what's going on here, yeah? I want to take this, ideally, at the low, yeah? Of this, this level here. So make this thinner. There you go. So we can see what we're looking at here. Yeah. Right. So I've got that one there. I've also got here. Yeah. This one, right? So this one's been tested already. Doesn't mean the market won't hold up here, right? doesn't mean that. So let's do this. Here we go. Cool. So we've got two levels in place, yeah? So if the market's here, what's that right now? If that's there, then I measure it. We're looking to the downside about 76 pips. Oh, that could be nice. 76 pips to the downside. That doesn't need much of a drop. That's more than capable of doing it. Tomorrow will be telling. 24 pip stop loss. Come on, can't go wrong. Put this in. Let's put it at 139 on below 139 on the nose. So it'll be below one. So look, if you see here to the right hand side, I've got it at one spot, 390. Yeah. So if I move this down slightly, what size stop is that giving me now? 32 pips. 13893. 894. Okay, perfect. Right, so why would I do that? Because what it is I don't want, because the figure's 139, yeah, one spot, 39 on the nose, then that's a psychological whole number, what you call a psychological whole number, yeah? People like to trade at zeros and fives and stuff. We round up and round down when we go shopping. Don't think traders are any different, right? You go to the shops and they say to you, how much is that going to be? You don't want to know that it's oh, that's £12.79. You know, you just want to know that it's £13. Do you know what I mean? We round up and round down because it's easier to calculate that way. That's how we like to exchange money as well, you know? For example, so those 5 and 10s is the easiest type of mathematics you could do also, right? As well. So, you know, people aren't necessarily great at maths when they get older, but they will understand their 10s and their 5 times table and that type of thing, etc. Yeah, same sort of thing. But look at that information that's come out there that we've got now, based on that. So based on that, well, don't you think that now it might make a bit more sense just to say, well, look, I'm going to buy it down here. I'm going to buy it down here. If I'm going to buy it down here, well, I don't want this stop loss here. I want it down here. Yeah. Okay. But now it's 50 pips trying to take both levels there to see what's going to happen with it. Yeah. Now I might do this, but I don't recommend you guys do this. So what I recommend you guys do. So when a currency pair moves, say 6-7 pips per day, does that mean? Alright, so yeah, Patrick's asking. It's a good question actually. So when a currency pair goes up, moves 60-70 pips on a day, does that mean up 60-70 and down 60-70? It's the range really. It doesn't necessarily mean either. Yeah. So let's say that the currency does a moves 100 pips in that day. Yeah. Typically, they're talking about in direction. So, for example, enter here and then exit here. If that's 100 pips, yeah, from here to here, then that means that the market's moved 100 pips to the upside if it started here. But if it started here and then finished here, it's moved 100 pips to the downside. In that time, the market will be up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You can't account for every single pip. But the market can do a 100 pip move to the upside, and you can still take 10 pips out of it consistently to the downside. Do you see what I mean? So it's gonna go up, it's gonna come down. There's gonna be things like profit taking. There'll be contrarian views, other people taking the other side of that position and so forth. People trying to catch tops and bottoms and that type of thing as well. So all that's going as well. Excellent, perfect, cool. Any more questions? Right. So if there's no more questions, let me tell you what. If I was you guys, what I'd be doing. Yeah. Got a question? This one, yeah? Yeah. Did you try to, because straight after that there was the big move up? This one here? Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, because we know that this isn't retail. These big moves aren't retail. So typically when the institution's been somewhere, you know, they'll leave footprints behind. And off the back of those footprints we can know when they're going to be in the market again. The problem with their footprints is that what happens is a lot of times it's driving into these levels, and people don't like that. Yeah, a lot of people like to use candlestick patterns, so I'm not a big advocate of candlestick patterns as well. Yeah, so they'll say like, you know, oh, I've got this what you might call, it's not really a hammer, but let's say it was. Let's say that it looked a bit more like this, for example. Let's say that looked like that. Okay. And now we've got what you call like a, I know it's a bit dodgy, shooting star, right? A hammer, yeah? And then people want to trade off the back of this. But then if that's the case, then where are you getting in? Yeah, so that means that your entry is going to have to be here on the red and so forth. Right, this thing actually is, it's not a hammer, so that's the reason why the price is down here, by the way. But the point is that with candlesticks, they get you into the party late. So we want our price to be here when the market to drive in, collect our orders, and drive back out again. That's supply and demand trading. That's what it's all about. That's why I don't put too much emphasis on candlestick patterns and things like that and so forth. Yeah. I just look for the big price bar moves up and down. It doesn't mean I don't understand candlestick patterns. It doesn't mean that I don't. If I see them there, it doesn't mean I don't read the message. Do you understand me? It doesn't mean that I don't follow the signs and stuff like that and so forth. But it's just that, you know, it's candlestick patterns generally a bit late. Yeah. So to get you into the party. So in terms of this here, what would I be looking to do? Well, with this actual level here, for you guys, I wouldn't recommend you trade this level. I recommend trade the level underneath it. It's far safer. You with me? So that trade we got on the 1 hour time frame. Let's just drill into the 15 minutes now and see what's what. So do you see how we see a lot less on the 15 minutes? Yeah. Than we see on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. That's why it's good to do that. Start getting a viewpoint of it, because then you look at cable and say, well, look, I need cable to sell off to get to my level at XYZ. You know, but I don't need to sell off just yet, so I can wait and see what it's going to do. But I've got a viewpoint on cable. So other information comes out, and you know, well, no, I know cable's in an uptrend or downtrend. I know it's doing this and it's doing that, and I'm expecting to do X, Y, and Z. Right? Where'd you get information from? Daily. So look at daily. It's like, well, cable's in an uptrend, but you know, at the same time, we can see that it's also it's making lower highs, slightly lower highs, which shows there's not enough strength by the buyers to push up at the moment. The overall trend is up as well, but there's a certain amount of consolidation. So we've got to see how that's going to pan out. Yeah, but at the moment, I've got a viewpoint. No matter what happens, I've got a viewpoint of what I'm seeing the market do in terms of price, etc., and all that type of thing. Yeah. So based upon this, it makes sense that the market should drop here to collect my order. Do you not agree? Does it make sense? Do you guys see that? Yeah. Yeah. So it makes sense they should drop down to collect my order with my trend line, with my levels as well that are in place as well. That's what a lot of it's about. And this here's a nice rally base drop. You see that? Rally base drop are really nice patterns to trade. I prefer the rally base drop, and the drop base rally. So the rally base rally, the drop base drop. Sorry. Said it wrong, than the other two, yeah, and the indicator will show you the other two. If we put the indicator here on this chart here, let's do this, and see what it's doing, and you can see that it will only, you can see if you look at everywhere where it draws, yeah, where it draws from, it's using the same pattern: drop, base, rally, yeah. It doesn't use, so even this it recognises this as a drop base rally. I recognise this as a rally base rally. Do you understand me? This is where we're different, me and the indicator and you guys as well, because you're humans, right? So you'll be more intelligent than the indicator. Indicator is not smart. It's not clever at all. You know, it can't work anything out or trade. Do you understand? It doesn't do any of those things. You guys do these things. This is what you do, right? You're the traders. These are just the tools that are there to assist you. So this is why I always encourage you guys to draw your own levels in and stuff like that and so forth, yeah? And I know what it's like. I know sometimes you can be drawing your levels in, you can take some trades and they work out well and you think, man, this works and I've got it. And then you can have a week where it just doesn't work for you. And it seems like nothing works. Or you constantly stopped out break even and stuff like that and so forth. And, you know, this is the difference between a trader and a machine. The machine doesn't have those... It doesn't have those things to battle against, those demons as such. But as humans, we always have those demons to battle against, especially as traders, because the money we can make is unlimited. Do you see what I mean? When you see a guy go through a year's worth of struggle to learn the markets, never makes any real money, you know, but then after a year, suddenly something clicks, bang, and next thing you know, his equity curve is just climbing like crazy. It's because of the work he did initially himself. It wasn't because of the indicator. So when you speak to him and he says like, "Well, I use this indicator, it's really good," then you try and do the same thing, don't get the same results. It's not because of the indicator. It's because of him or her, the individual. Yeah, they do say that women make better traders than men because women bring less ego to the table, right? So you know they say if you get a unit from like DFS or something, is it DFS? IKEA, isn't it? IKEA. Um, and she has as much shopping I do. Right, so IKEA. So what happens is it's a package, isn't it? You got to unpack it and you got to build it and so forth. Well, it's said that women will typically grab this instruction book. There you go. Instruction booklet, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And then they'll put it together, right? Where guys mostly like, pah, don't need that shit, get that out of here. You know, you can't put this together. It's got two legs, you've got a back, you've got a top, you've got a front, you've got a few drawers, that goes like that, bang, put it in, and then before you know it, you've got some spare parts lying around, right? Every of those IKEA packs come with spare parts, no matter what the missus says. Right, so, but they say women make better traders than men because they're more disciplined in their approach. Interestingly enough, I always wondered about that as well because it's something that I've always heard constantly, and it's a male-dominated environment. On any trading floor you go to, you're going to see a lot less women than you see men. But typically, when you see women on there, they're typically doing really well. You know, so, I mean, some of the best traders I've met have been women. You know, and you should see them. They'll see something in out, in out, in out. They don't think about it too much, right? And but they'll constantly pressing the button. That's one thing I noticed about women. We can't say that particularly about every single woman, but I've seen it with a lot of women, yeah. So once they got their set of rules and they understand that, they're like, okay, cool, that's all I need to do. And they just keep going at it constantly, bang, 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 bang. Do you see what I mean? So, I don't know. Don't throw away the instruction book. Keep it. But again, trading's about having that disciplined approach as well. So it's also, you know, it's not just about. And the reason I want to show you this today is because it's not about opening the chart and it's like, oh, I see a level, let me just take this level. You know? There's also a certain amount, and I've talked about this quite a few times, like the gladiator gets into the arena. Let me see if I can show you what I mean by this, and then before we wrap up. So, let's see if I can find this quickly. Athletes do this as well. I've seen some athletes do this as well, actually. See if I can find this. Where is it? You know when the gladiators, so when you see it in the movies, right? When they get on the battlefield and what they do, and when they get on the battlefield, they what's it called? Um, they 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 bend down and they grab the gravel. Yeah, you seen that? Yeah, you guys must have seen that. They'll grab the gravel. It's almost that kind of thing, like you're trying to come one with your arena, or whatever it is. It's like, you know, when I used to, where was the last place that I went to speak? I think the last, no, where was it? When I was like, give an example, right? Bloomberg. When I did Bloomberg, there was like 200-300 people or something that were there, yeah. And so the organisers, when I got there, security took me to the organisers and they took me to the room and I had to get mic'd up and stuff. And they, you know, they put that mic pack on your back and all that kind of nonsense and stuff like that. They do, but so and they showed me where everybody would be sitting and where the stage is. So before anything happened, you know, I wanted to do that. I wanted to walk around the stage and just kind of get familiar with my environment. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, it's that kind of thing. If you watch athletes do it, yeah. So, like, and there's a lot of rugby players and football players that would do this type of thing. Actually, I've seen as well. But it's something about touching the grass and yeah. You guys ever seen that? Right. So it's that same kind of thing. It's like almost like familiarising yourself with your environment. Yeah. Same thing, right? Exactly. So when you do this, I just want you guys to kind of familiarise yourself as much as you can with your environment. In other words, I don't want you to jump straight in. I want you to kind of like just take 5 minutes to kind of like, you know, look at the markets and embrace where you are and stuff. Especially because we go in and out of zones. So some days you will be in the zone. and some days you won't. That's just normal. Some days it will just be like, yep, um, I see exactly what it is I need to see and so forth, and it's all there in front of me. And do you understand me? And it ticks every box. Then there'll be other times that you look and think, no, I just don't see anything today. I'm not feeling it. Yeah, anyone had that? Some of you must have had it. When you look at the markets, for some reason I just don't feel quite like, I can. Or you feel a bit of uncertainty and stuff like that. Yeah, you must have had it. We all have it. We're all only human, right? Anyway, I know for me, yeah, you've had that as well, Stephen. Exactly, because we're human. That's what happens. So we can have that. So the way to get around it is always to spend a bit of time just looking at your charts first of all, initially. You know, um, so Patrick, you've had that kind of week, is it? Yeah, you can have that again. If you do this, get used to doing this. Get used to it. Get used to it. Because so my point is like what you see is what you see with your eyes. Yeah, your eyes don't deceive you to that great a degree. Yeah, if I was to ask you what colour is this or what colour is that, you're gonna what colour is this bar, what colour is that bar, you're gonna tell me they're green and red, right? So you can see they're green and red. If I asked you what this candlestick pattern was, you could tell me. You could say, oh, there's a big wick on that one. That's a doji. That's a spinning top. That's a hammer. That's an engulfing candle, etc. You can see this and you can tell me this, right? You can all do it as well because you've all got jobs, right? Because you've all got jobs, it means that you've learned some things to do with your environment, do with your job, do with your industry, or the place that you work, the company, and that you didn't know before, and you would have learned it, and now you know it, and but there'll still be probably days when you get into work, and it's just like, I mean, it depends on what job you do. Some days you can get to work, it's like, what have I got to do today? Kind of thing. I feel a bit out of sorts almost, right? Because there's a lot of things to account for that. Yeah. So I'll just say this quickly before we wrap up. We are 90% water. The human body. Yeah. It's said to be 90% water. I know it sounds like that would be a lot of water, but it's said to be 90% water. The logic behind this is, that your bones contain water, your blood contains water, your skin contains water, your eyes contain water. Every part of your body contains water. That's why we need water. We're part of water, right? Okay, so just bear that in mind now. The moon has these cycles and it waxes and wanes and stuff like that and so forth. And I don't know how much you guys read and study and things like that, but I'm the type of person I sit down, I'll read and I'll study a load of stuff, and it's like, I can be up to 3 o'clock in the morning just reading different information and stuff like that. I don't know how many of you guys seen that video. Anybody here watch that video I sent you on Law of Commerce? Anyone see that? Law of Commerce, I posted in the room. No? You should. Anyone that hasn't seen it, you should watch it, yeah? Law of Commerce. So you understand the kind of laws that govern money, because money is what we use. So it's important to understand that, yeah. Because you haven't seen it, you should see it. We're basically operating under maritime law, yeah. The reason why I want you to see this is just to open your mind a bit more. I'll post it now in the live room for you guys. I'll post a link. Where is it? Let me post it for you. I suggest you all watch it, right? It's a 1 hour video, but it's really interesting. They explain like the movement of money and why we use certain terminology and stuff like that. Now it's important to understand these because of things like legalese. But anyway, so back here, right? So this is the moon. Now the moon controls the tides. You guys know this, yeah? You've probably done this at school. So it controls the tides and stuff like that. When we have a full moon, yeah. Mental homes have extra procedures in place because the patients tend to get more violent. Road rage incidents go up, violent incidents go up, crime goes up during times of full moon. Yeah, and in Hindu culture, they what it's called, they observe Ekadashi. Yeah, so there's for I think it's 24 48 hour period they will eat only certain types of food, so they avoid certain things like grains and stuff and bread and stuff like that and coffee because of the way that it interacts. So when the full moon comes, you can feel a bit weird and heavy inside and stuff like that, right? I'm going to point you some evidence if you don't believe me on this. I mean, if the government and the military are spending money to experiment on this kind of stuff and study it, there's something in it, right? Anyway, so and we've got the old stories of the full moon and the wolf and stuff like that and things that happen in the full moon. They came from somewhere, not just kid stories. So I think it's a motto. Is it Dr. Emoto? I don't know if any of you guys have heard this. Dr. Morris Emoto. Let's see if I can. Bear 1 second. I'm going to find this. He done this water experiment, yeah, where he took like glasses or cups of water. Uh, water. Here we go. Water experiment. Dr. Emoto. There you go. Right, cool. This is the one. Dr. Masaru Emoto. Yeah, water experiment. Words are alive. Yeah, this here. There's a full documentary you can watch. This is just simply like the 3 minute video, and I know you guys don't want to sit there and watch a whole hour if you don't have to. So this will give you the whole message as well. So I'll just post that in the group, and you guys can watch that, right? Cool, that's done as well. So it was all to do with water, an experiment about water and stuff like that. So I just want you guys to remember that we are water. Your diet affects how you feel from time to time. You can fill out sorts and stuff like that and so forth. Just bear that in mind. You know, there's other influences around us other than the wife or husband for the ladies in the group, you know, I don't know, neighbour, people you meet on the tube or the bus in the morning, your boss, you know, clients, patients, depending on what kind of industry you're in, and so forth. There's other people around that can really disturb and influence your emotions, right? But there's also other planetary influence and stuff like that as well. So bear that in mind. If sometimes you just feel a bit out of sorts, just take a bit of time to have a look around, see what's going on. Do you see what I mean? To get your mojo back, if you like. Yeah. All right. Cool. Um, any questions before we wrap up? No? Cool. Any questions, let me know. I know some of you I need to speak to today at some point. We've got some coaching calls lined up. Some of you sent me some questions and stuff like that as well. So we'll do that. If you guys need anything, have any questions and stuff like that, there's anything you want to go through, book any coaching sessions and stuff like that, I advise you to do that, and we'll do that. And you know, have a good day trading. If I see anything worthwhile taking, I'll post it as well. Let you know what I'm doing. Yeah. Perfect. All right, listen, guys. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll post out the recording for you in about an hour or so. Okay. Cheers, guys. Bye now. Thanks. Bye.